So let's talk about something that can literally make or break one of the biggest purchases of your life. Buying a home. It really all comes down to a few pages of data and the incredible rights you have to control what's on them.
I mean, just picture it. You've found the one, the perfect house. You've put in an offer, things are moving along, and then, slam. The whole thing comes to a grinding halt because of a tiny mistake on a report you may have never even seen.
And look, this isn't just some scary story we're telling. For a lot of people trying to buy a home, this is a real-life nightmare. One single wrong number on a credit report can mean getting denied for a loan, getting stuck with a way higher interest rate, or not being able to borrow enough. But, and this is a big but, you have way more power here than you think.
Okay, so to really get a handle on that power, we first have to see your credit report through a lender's eyes. To them, it's not just some list of your past payments. No way. It is the #1 tool they use to figure out their risk in giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Think of your credit report as the ultimate gatekeeper. First, it decides if you even get in the door, if you qualify for a mortgage at all. Then it sets the price of admission, your interest rate, and a tiny difference there can cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. And finally, it tells you how much you're allowed to borrow. Your entire home buying power, every bit of it, rests on this one document.
So knowing the stakes are that high, you obviously need a way to make sure that information is 100% accurate. And that's where your secret weapon comes into play. It's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FCRA. And I know, it sounds like some boring piece of legislation, but trust me, it is a powerful shield for you.
At its heart, the FCRA is basically a promise. It's a federal guarantee that the story your credit report tells about you is the true story. It's all about making sure the information that credit agencies have on you is accurate, that it's fair, and that your privacy is protected. So how does it actually do that? Well, the FCRA gives you what I like to call a homebuyer's toolkit, 4 key rights. Think of these as the tools you need to inspect, repair, and protect your credit before you even think about making an offer. Let's break them down. First up, and this one is probably the most important, is your right to access. It's pretty simple, right? You can't fix a problem you don't know exists, and the FCRA makes sure you are never left in the dark. This is exactly why the law says you can get your credit reports for free from the big 3 bureaus. The whole point is for you to get in there, check things out, and fix any problems long before a lender ever lays eyes on your file. You know, it's kind of like doing a home inspection, but for your finances. Taking a good hard look at your credit report is your absolute first line of defense against mistakes that could totally sink your dream of buying a home. Okay, so you've pulled your report, and you spot something that just doesn't look right. What do? That leads us straight to your second key right, the power to dispute those errors.
And get this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's the law. If you find the mistake, maybe a credit card that isn't yours or a loan you paid off years ago, the credit bureaus is legally required to investigate. And here's the best part. They usually have to fix it within 30 days.
The payoff for doing this? It's huge. This right makes sure that the mortgage offer you get is based on your actual financial life, not on some typo or someone else's bad data. It just makes the whole process fair. All right, your third right is all about your privacy and who gets to see your info. This is your right to limited access. Your financial life is your business, and the FCRA puts up some pretty strict guardrails.
So this right basically acts as a bouncer for your data. A company can't just pull your credit report because they're curious. They need a legitimate reason, what the law calls a permissible purpose, like when you apply for that mortgage. And for total transparency, you can see a list of every single company that's recently checked you out.
When you're searching for a home, you're talking to lenders, real estate agents, a lot of people. This right gives you peace of mind because you know your sensitive info isn't just floating around out there for anyone to see.
And finally, number 4. This right is all about playing defense against criminals. It's your right to protection from things like identity theft and fraud, which can absolutely wreck your chances of getting a mortgage. So, the FCRA gives you 2 really powerful tools for this. A fraud alert is like a check ID sign for lenders. A credit freeze is the lockdown option. It basically blocks anyone from opening new credit in your name, period.
That time between getting pre-approved and actually closing on the house is super critical. Using these tools shields your credit from any funny business that could blow up your loan approval right at the finish line.
So we've gone through all 4 of the key rights in your toolkit.
We've seen how to inspect, repair, and protect your credit, but what's the real-world payoff? Well, it's the difference between buying a home with anxiety and buying with total confidence.
I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you have someone who doesn't know about these rights. They're facing a higher risk of getting denied, higher interest rates, and just a whole lot of stress. But on the other side, someone who knows their FCRA rights has a path to a smoother approval, much stronger buying power, and that amazing feeling of being in control.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. But just knowing this stuff isn't enough, right? Knowledge is only power when you actually use it. So let's talk about what you do next. And I love this because it really gets to the heart of it. Lenders aren't actually looking for someone who's never made a mistake. They're looking for someone who is responsible and prepared. And when you use your FCRA rights, that's exactly what you're showing them. So that really leaves us with just one last question you need to ask yourself. Right now, this very second, is your credit report an asset, pushing you toward your dream home, or is it an obstacle standing in your way? The power to decide which one it is, well, that's always been in your hands.